We have 2 Jeeps and tons of parts, so there's only one thing to do: have a Jeep build-off. Today on TruckU, Bruno and I put together build teams to see who can build the toughest rig.
These are cool.
This is a lot of stuff, man. You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to TruckU. Here's what we've got going on today. 2 Jeeps in the shop, and we've got 2 days to get all this work done. Look at all the stuff that we have. So this is going to be fun. What we're going to do here is a little build-off. It's Bruno versus Matt, and it's coming at you right now.
So for the next 2 days, it's the Steele man versus the B man, and what I'm going to be working with is this 2009 JK. Now, if it looks familiar to guys, it's for good reason. I took this bad boy up to the old Eaton Proving Ground, so I know that this thing can handle a beating. It's got the lockers underneath. It can take the power, put the power to the ground. Now it's about giving it a little bit more oomph, if you will.
Bruno, that is going to be cute when it's done. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, exactly. That's what it's going to be. But when we roll up to the party, we want to be turning everybody's heads, and that's what we'll be doing with the big 4-door Sahara right here. It's going up 4.5 inches. Bigger wheels and tires, obviously. Bigger bumpers, front and rear right there. New fender flares, new doors. That is the Destroyer, and it's coming up here real soon. Now, we've got a lot of work to do, though,
A lot of work to do, and the thing is, be honest with you, it's probably a little bit too much for him and I to do in 2 days, so we brought in a team of builders to help us out along the way. This is going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be fast-paced and non-stop, so stick around and hang on. Let's get started. There we go. All right, Matt. It's all you, man. Now, this is the first member of Team Steele. His name is Matt. He's an internationally known Jeep expert, and he's got the same first name as me. That way we don't get confused. All we got to do is get in here and start ripping out this old suspension stuff right now. So we get that front drive shaft out of the way, and you can see there's not a lot of wiggle room coming out of that transfer case right there, right, Matt?
No, it's going to bind up in here for sure.
All right, so we're going to replace that with this upgraded rugged ridge drive shaft that we got from CSE Off-Road. And this is going to fix the problem, because if that's going to bind, there's no way it's going to work with 4.5 inches more with this axle dropping down, providing that lift. But that's all going to be fixed right here in this little CV joint, right?
Yeah, the 2 U-joints back-to-back allow for a lot more flex, and they also reduce the vibration that would happen with the original drive shaft.
So the 4.5 inches of lift is not going to be a problem for this.
Correct.
The first member of my winning team is my boy Rob, and I brought him in for 2 very good reasons. Number 1, he is an avid Jeep enthusiast. Number 2, the guy's a rock racer, so he gets it.
That's right, racers think alike.
Yep, that's my boy. You see, this Jeep, it needs a bit of a performance upgrade. It comes with a 3.8 liter V6, and when you step on the gas, well, not a whole lot happens. So first of all, we want to give it some performance, some more torque, some more horsepower. My first thinking is throw a nitrous bottle on it, but it's not exactly sustainable power, so Rob suggested a brand new set of headers. So we've got this entire header system here from the guys at Rip Mods. Now, if you can look, you can see this is a long tube design compared to the stock short tube we've got here. It comes with the bungs for the O2 sensors, the catalytic converters. The whole idea is to give us more torque and more horsepower, but the big thing for us is it's going to lower the range for that torque and horsepower, which is better for what we're trying to do.
That's right, it's going to lower our peak torque curve about 600 RPM over stock, which is definitely going to help us get over those obstacles and rocks and trees, whatever we're going to be crawling over.
Yeah, it's also going to help us turn that bigger tire we're going to put on it, and when Rob's out there racing, he gets on the gas, it applies the power sooner, you're going to accelerate faster. Well, that's just better all for everybody. Now, the thing about it is, when you're doing a build like this and you're taking out headers and exhaust, it's easier to do it on a lift, right?
Sure, it'd be great to have one.
Yeah, I mean, and we do have one. The problem is someone stole the lift, so we got to work a little bit harder, but that's okay. We're used to that. Now, as you know, we're pressed for time on this build-off right here, so we're doing a little multitasking. Rob's working on the headers while the newest member of our build team here is Ka, who happens to be a resident expert in the world of Jeep. He rounds out our all-star team. As you can see, Ka's getting the air intake system out of the way because we're going to increase the performance another way by adding a new performance air intake system on from K&N. Now, it's an easy thing to do. You can do it in a matter of minutes, as you can see right here. And quite frankly, it's the easiest way you can get performance gains that are guaranteed, not only for your Jeep or any production vehicle.
You know, another great thing about the K&N is the filter itself. You know, it doesn't matter where you go wheeling. It could be Johnson Valley, it could be Moab. It's bound to get dusty, and the nice thing is after your trip, you can go home, rinse it off, and it's totally reusable.
That's great, because not only are you getting a performance gain, you're getting the protection of your engine. You're keeping all that dust and debris out of the engine, so that's nice. It comes with a 1,000,000-mile warranty. You know what? We're doing all this extra stuff. We're putting the performance into this vehicle. Every once in a while, you got to go with a little bling. And now, Rob isn't a fan of chrome getting you home, but you know what? It looks good, so let's go the extra mile, huh? You got that?
Yep, I got it. Get this side in.
I'm just not used to getting this amount of help over here.
Hey, you're good.
So you said you had an idea about a race we should do to decide the winner of this whole deal.
You know what?
I'm open for anything.
Yeah, since this is going to be a race, why don't we go geocaching?
You know, I've heard of it before, but not really sure what all that is. Is that like some new kid lingo?
No, you know what? It's been going on for a while. It's a big craze right now, and basically it was started by two guys who went to Moab one time, found a great location, locked in the latitude and longitude of that location, and shared it with all their buddies. It kind of took off, and now everyone that has a neat spot, they'll lock in the latitude and longitude. Some people will stash little prizes, little trinket boxes. It's a great way to do this race.
Kind of like a little treasure hunt. That's
Absolutely.
Cool. You know what? I think that's a great way to decide the winner. You know, one test for all the marbles.
Right, I agree.
And you know what? I'm a lot smarter than he is, so this should make it easy.
It should be easy.
All right. Advantage All-Stars.
So we got just about all the stock stuff out of the way, and we're getting ready to install our new kit. This is the one that we got from the guys at CSE Off-Road. It's the Rugged Ridge kit, and it's going to give us about 4.5 inches of lift, and this is going to be nice. There's a couple good benefits to it. The only thing we're waiting on is that last lower control arm.
Right here.
Nice. Look at the timing on that. Here, I'll trade you.
Thank you.
There you go. That brings me to secret weapon number 2. This is Sharon. Now, Sharon can outbuild and outwork just about everybody around. So when you put Sharon and Matt and myself all on one team, we are virtually unbeatable. There is no way we're going to lose this thing here today. I'm feeling good about this,
So
aren't
am
you?
I. Very good about this. This is much stronger, much more durable, and the really good thing about this is it has grease fittings on both sides, so you can't get it wrong. I'll show you how to put it in right now.
Telling you, Sharon is all business. Bruno, you're going down. That's the bottom line. These are also about 1/2 inch longer right there, which is going to keep everything centered. It's going to keep our alignment spec. It's all going to look right and fit in right where it needs to. Now, there's one more thing going on while we do this, and that's this bump stop extension right there. We had to drill a little hole for that. We'll mount that in there. That way the bump stop will hit here when the spring is fully compressed, and that'll keep the tire from slamming into the side of the truck. So we're doing good.
Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, the crash bar is out of the way, and that's an option when you're putting on a Poison Spider front bumper like this. The reason you want to do something like that is it gives you more ground clearance. As you guys all know, out on the trails, the more ground clearance you have, the better off you are. Now we've got our air intake system in. That's done. Headers are done. Now it's time to give this Jeep a bit of a facelift up front. The way we're going to do that is with this stubby Poison Spider front bumper. Now, not only is it going to give us protection out on the trails, but it looks good and it's practical. Look at this thing. It's got the angles underneath here, allows us to articulate all those obstacles out on the courses, allows you to get the right clearances and the right angles when you're going over those obstacles and those rocks. The best part about it for us is the fact that it fits, man. We're in a time crunch. We can slide this thing on, bolt it in place. We don't have to cut it. We don't have to chop anything. We don't have to do any welding. That's awesome.
Now, Bruno, another cool thing about this bumper is you notice where the winch sits. It sits up in the air on top of that bumper instead of sitting down low. The neat thing about that is it's going to keep that dirt and that mud away from our winch line, especially the one we're going to use because it's a synthetic line.
Yeah, that's a good point
Yep.
too. You know, if you look up front, it's also got the cutouts for the factory fogs, and you know what, the shackle mounts up here, these are great. Steele's gonna love this thing because we're out on the trails, you know, we're burying him, he gets stuck in the mud, we can hook him up and pull him out. I mean, I know he's my competition, but you know, he's my boy. You gotta look out for your boy, right?
Yep.
All right, let's get this thing out of the way. Rob can do some deburring, do some painting. We can mount those factory fogs up here.
Don't tell Bruno, but things are going really good over here. Okay, track bar relocator bracket, that's in place. We'll tie it all back in when we get the vehicle back down on the ground. Then you've got these disconnectable sway bar drop links right here. These are going to be really nice because when you're driving on the road, you got all the benefits of the sway bar. When you get out on the trails, you just disconnect them, pop that middle part out, and now you've got greater flexibility and all the articulation and everything that you're going to want when you're out on the road, and you hook it all back up and you drive home safely. And it moves us right back here to the shocks, and Matt's going to bring me up just a little bit because these shocks are just about ready to get tied in. I need to come up about another ½ inch or so, but I think, and that's getting there, dude. That is getting there real close, right? Perfect. All right. So keep in mind, we still have to tighten everything up, but it's all coming together. I can't wait to see this thing when it's on the ground.
So our bumper is mounted, that's set, good to go. Now it's time to put in our brand new winch. Now look at this super winch. This is a bad boy here. It's 12,000 pound winch, and I know you guys might be thinking, is it 12,000 a little bit overkill for a 4,500 pound vehicle? Yes, it is, but there's a good reason why, because I heard somebody on the phone the other day talking about a 10,000 pound winch for his Forder. Ha! 12K, baby. That's what it's all about.
12K.
Bigger is better.
12K all the way.
All the way, 12K. Now, before we go ahead and put this thing in place, what you want to do is take the mounting nuts, stick them inside the slot right here, put a little piece of tape over it so when you set it in, they're not falling out and you're not chasing them while you're trying to put the heavy winch in place.
Done that many times.
Yeah, right?
First thing I do is get this Haas Fairlead in place.
All right, grab that side. Set that down here. Now, to go along with our super winch, we've got ourselves some synthetic line for super winch as well. Now, inch per inch, this stuff is as strong as steel. It lasts 3 times as long, and it floats on water, so it's really the only way to go these days.
And another good thing is if this cable was to break,
Yeah.
it just falls to the ground. A lot safer than the steel. The steel will recoil, and actually, I've seen them go through bumpers.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not cool.
Now, when you spool this thing up, you want to be careful too, because you don't want to have it loose because that can be a problem as well.
And one thing I like to do is I'll run a couple rounds around the spool, and I'll actually hook the end of the cable to a tree, reel it in with the brakes on,
Nice.
just a little bit. It gives tension on the spool all the way through the whole, this is 80 foot of line, so you want the whole way nice and tight.
Right.
If you don't, what can happen is it gets in between each of the other strands of the rope. It can actually tangle up and you can't even pull the thing out.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good because we're planning on utilizing this thing when we're out on our chase, right?
Right.
So we've got this all set up here. The one thing else I want to mention to you guys is the fact that we've got a Poison Spider Fairlead, and what's nice about it is the fact that it works with another company we're going to be utilizing. So this is from Rigid Industries, and check out how easily this 10-inch bar mounts just like that. It's set up. We've got our plug in here, and hey, Kyle, flip the switch. Bam, right there. We have got a bright light to light up any environment. We're going to have a couple of dualies mounted on either side on the A-pillars, and we are ready to go. Hey, it's a good time for you guys to take a break. We have got a lot of work left to do. That's cool though, huh?
It's gonna be a late night.
Welcome back. Now, things are moving along in the back, and it's even easier. Not that it was all that difficult up in the front, but this is a cakewalk back here. There's a couple little things that are different. You've got your emergency brake relocation bracket right up on here. We've got our hydraulic brake line relocator brackets. They're going to go right there on the side, and that'll keep the brake lines from getting all stretched out due to the lift, right? So you take a look, and I think, realistically, the only other thing is this track bar relocator bracket, right?
That's it.
So that's going to tie in right there. That's the only thing that gets a little bit complicated back here because that ties in with the differential. But Matt, I mean, seriously, how complicated is that, right?
Not bad.
Not bad. You can handle that, right?
I can handle it.
I'm loving this guy. That is why Team Steele is going to win this thing out here today. You're not looking for another full-time gig or anything, are you?
Yeah, you never know.
Let me tell you, dude, I'm going to save your number. I like this kit. Listen, we got a little bit back here to do, and then the lift kit is done, and this is going to look awesome. All right, let's get this spring out of here, right? There we go. We won't be needing this. So today, we're back at our buddy's engine shop, taking a look at one of our favorite things, the turbocharger. Now, everybody loves those, right? Those are great when they're working, but when they quit, when they fail on you, that's a whole different scenario altogether.
Now, turbochargers are becoming much more prevalent these days, both in the OEM and the aftermarket, because they get a lot of power and do so very efficiently. One of the things you have to keep in mind with the turbocharger, you have to keep the clearances right in order for it to work efficiently. But there's a couple things working against you. Extreme heat, and this thing spins at ridiculously high revolutions. Right. Now, the turbocharger stays lubricated by an inlet and outlet line right here. Now, what it'll do is the motor, while it's running, pumps oil through the turbocharger, lubricates the bearings, the seals, the internal shafts, and it does a really good job. The problem is when you shut the engine off, you've got a lot of heat still inside the turbocharger, and you've got residual oil that's no longer being pumped through. It's what's left over sitting inside there, and it can score up on that shaft, score on that seal, and you lose some of the tolerances and actually lose some of the efficiency of that turbocharger.
Now, an easy way to prevent that is to simply pour Z-Max into your engine. It's a micro lubricant, so it's actually going to go places where normal oil cannot because the molecules are smaller. Again, think of it as lubricating from the inside out. So all of your bearings and your seals, they're all going to stay lubricated. They're going to run cooler, which is going to make this part last longer and keep you out of the engine shop.
Now this Jeep is really coming together. Believe it or not, we're almost done underneath the hood. The last order of business is to wire up our source box for our S-Pod, and that's what Kaz's doing right now. Now what that is, it's really a nice way to do any auxiliary wiring. What you've got is a series of relays tied together with clearly labeled inputs and outputs. The nice thing about that, let's say you're putting in this light bar up front, right? All you do is you run a wire to and from it, and that is it. It's a great way to keep your wiring simple, keep it compact, and this way you know you won't have to worry about fuses, relays, any of that stuff. It does all the work for you. Now the way you operate all that is through one single data wire like this. This cable will run inside the vehicle. It'll mount up to this switch panel right here, which you can figure any way you want. The lights will come on, know you're operating. It's just that easy. Now when you roll inside the Jeep, first thing you'll notice is we've got our switch panel mounted in place, and you flip the switch, we got power, which is a good thing, so we're all set up there. Kaz did his job up front. The other thing you notice, the seats are gone because we're going to replace them as well. Now these seats are a huge upgrade over the factory ones, and you need it because this vehicle is going to be doing a lot of off-roading. The driver needs to be safe, right? This is a great seat from Mastercraft. It's the Baja RS. It's got the same full suspension lining in it as the race seats do, so they're going to keep you protected. They'll keep you encapsulated inside the seat, as well as keep you from fatiguing because these things are so supportive. Also notice you've got the cutouts for the 5-point harness. That's great, and the best part about it, the seat is a best of both worlds scenario. It's for everyday driving as well as off-roading because it's got a recline where you can go from a forward tilt to a full recline, so it's really the best of both worlds.
The suspension is done, and I can't wait to see what this baby looks like on those bigger tires. It's going to look awesome. But now we got a little break in the action. We can come back up here and work on some of the other cool stuff that we're putting on this Jeep, namely some new trail doors. Now, Matt, if you can give me a hand here for a second, we'll get this door out of the way. If you've ever done this, you know the biggest pain in the butt is getting that little clip out of the way, but I got that. So we can get in here and work this out nice and slow. You got it? I appreciate it. So that door's going out, and these trail doors are coming in. Take a look at this.
Just so you know, I'm watching.
What are you doing over here? Stay on your side of the garage, all right? Don't interrupt me. These are the new trail doors from Body Armor. This is a cool off-road looking door, and nice and easy. It's a little bit lighter, a little bit easier to maneuver, so we'll put that in there, and that will slide right down. Now when we shut it, right, you got the little striker on the inside. You can kind of take a look, and that is right there. And all we're gonna do is shut it, and since it's loose, it's gonna go right where it needs to go. That's it. Now we'll tighten everything down, and we know we're gonna have a good solid shut every time we close it. And this is gonna be nice looking. Look at that. We'll wrap it all the way around.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, check out speed.com or visit our website at truckutv.com. Sound Control Mat is scientifically designed to absorb and dissipate vibration created from the engine, road, and structure of your car or truck. Cover as little as 25% of the area for a noticeable reduction in noise. Just peel and stick, easy to cut and bend to conform with no prep work. For maximum noise reduction, use the multi-purpose installation. The 4x6 foot sheet has 3/8-inch sound deadening fiber padding and a highly reflective aluminum bonded on one side for 97% reflective of radiant heat. The multi-purpose installation also has numerous household uses to save you on gas and your electric bills. This tip is brought to you by LMC Truck. Restore, maintain, and customize your truck with parts and accessories from LMC Truck.
Welcome back to TruckU. Now, all kidding aside today, because we kind of, rag on each other a little bit, we did get a lot of work done.
We got
right?
a ton of work done.
But we have a lot more work to do tomorrow.
A ton of work to do tomorrow.
You could say that again. Hey, one of the companies that I worked with a lot on my particular truck was CSE Off-Road. They hooked me up with a lot of stuff. Here's something else cool that they hooked us up with. It's the Rugged Ridge all-terrain floor liners. And these are nice because really what they are, it's like a deep floor mat combined with the old-style liner all wrapped up into one. And these are cool.
Now, these are also made from a high-quality thermoplastic, which looks and feels like rubber, which is going to give you a nice non-slip surface for the vehicle floor.
They've got these for Jeeps going back from 1976 all the way up to 2011, and they've got them for a lot of the major trucks and SUVs that are out there made by the big three as well. It's the Rugged Ridge all-terrain floor liners, and you can pick them up from CSE Off-Road. These are the Champion Iridium spark plugs from the Federal Mogul Corporation, and Iridium is a precious metal, and that's really where the magic happens, so to speak, in these spark plugs versus a standard plug.
Now, one of the key attributes of Iridium is the fact that it's 4 times harder, 30% stronger, and has a 1200-degree higher melting point than platinum, which makes it a better conductor of electricity.
The heat-active alloy also maintains a stable operating temperature under all engine loads. So when you take all of these factors and you add them all together, it's easy to see why this is one of the best performing plugs on the market.
It's the Champion Iridium spark plug from Federal Mogul.
This is the Headlight Restoration kit from Rain-X, and there's a lot of different reasons people would want to use a kit like this.
Yeah, people don't realize that over the course of time, your headlight lenses lose their optical clarity. They get dulled, they get yellowed, they get hazed over from UV and from a bunch of different, environmental factors.
Now, this kit from Rain-X is great because it's got everything that you need. The instructions are right there on the back. It's 4 steps. It's nice and easy to follow, and here's the key to this particular kit. It's the sealant that you've got on the end. As you clean that yellow off of the lights, you're stripping off all of the UV protectant that's on that light as well. So if you don't put something back on there to cover it and seal it, you're prone to get that yellowing back even sooner. So make sure that when you do that, you put the sealer on there. It's going to get the yellow off the light and keep it off there for a lot longer time, giving you optical clarity and making you see everybody on the road, and they're all going to see you as well. It's the Headlight Lens Restoration Kit from Rain-X.
All right, day 1 is done, and you need to get your Jeep off that lift because I get it tomorrow.
It has been a long day. Did you bring that cooler in this morning by any chance? Just checking.